What's going on, Socialites? Welcome back to another quick recap this past week in the Global Pokemon Society Draft League, as well as a little bit of Pokemon news. Not too much this week, but we'll get into a couple things. Episode 70, GPS tracking. Let's get right into it. So we're actually going to start off with the Pokemon news. Only a couple things really going on here. In the TCG side of things. So later this week, this Friday, you'll be able to get your Build and Battle boxes for Fusion Strike from your local game store or wherever might provide those to you. Instead of a pre-release, this is what they've been doing due to the ongoing pandemic, COVID, etc. And then next week on the 12th, you'll get your hands on the product. Hopefully you get your hands on the product if you want it for Fusion Strike. Let me know what you think about this set. They're starting to get wonky here. I tell you, this whole fusion mechanic is wonky. And then they just announced the next set coming out, Brilliant Stars. This will be coming out end of February, and it has a new mechanic as well called V-Star, which acts sort of like VMAX, where it evolves from your Pokemon V. But a couple differences. One, you still only get 2 prize cards when it's knocked out, not 3 like a VMAX. And they have this new V-Star power, which is supposed to be either a super strong attack or ability that you can only use 1 V-Star power per game. So it's not per Pokemon or anything, it's per game. So, some interesting stuff. I wonder, because this is coming out in February, so this will be almost 3 or so months after Diamond and Pearl remakes are released. I don't know if there's something with like a star mechanic in Diamond and Pearl. I mean, they got Arceus on here. This will also be about a month after Legends Arceus comes out, so who knows. But, some interesting stuff there, for sure. Alright, now we're going to get into the Draft League content. Taking a look at what's been going on in week number 9. So we're going to be entering our final week. Here's the standings right now. Denver and Boston both at 9-0. So we lost an undefeated. We'll get to there in a moment. Denver up by percentage points. So will one of these teams, will both of these teams, will neither of these teams be undefeated after this final week? We'll have to see here. Then we got our team that got bumped out. The Memphis Muse lost to Paris Saint-Germain. Make sure you check out that game. I thought it was a great game. Very, very good game. Definitely check that out. So yeah, they're 8-1, and they're right there with the Vero Beach Volcaronas. And as you can see, they're both in the South Division. And guess who they are playing this week? Yes, they are playing each other. So the winner of this match between the Memphis Muse and the Vero Beach Volcaronas gets that South Division. They'll probably get the number 3 seed at this point. And yeah, the runner-up will still get a bye week for the first week, but they'll probably be stuck with the number 5 seed instead of the number 3 seed. And our last 8-1 team is the Pittsburgh Poltergeist. They clinched the number 4 seed. There's really no way they can move up there, because one of these, Memphis or Vero, is going to be 9-1. Even if Boston loses by 8 points, they'll still have 38 points in the differential, and if Pittsburgh won by 8 points, they would only have 37. So Pittsburgh, the number 4 seed, winner of the North Division. Then we got a few teams that clinched playoffs. We already knew the Driftvale City Dragapults clinched it last week. Moving on to 6-3, they had a very good chance too, and they did it. PSG, with their win over Memphis, clinched the playoffs at 5-4. They got to go up against Boston, so trying to stop 2 undefeated streaks at the end of this season. See how they do there. And Black City beating Tokyo. The winner of that match was going to clinch a playoff spot, so they beat them. And, you know, they've had a rough second half, so it's good for them to get a win here after starting off 4-0. They lost 4 straight, so they get a win. They get into the playoffs. Let's see if they can keep the momentum going as they go up against Pittsburgh in the last week here. And then we got all these other teams. 6 teams still fighting for playoff position here. Charm City Charizards currently hold the number 9 seed, 4-5, 10 game wins, -2 differential. Tokyo still in the top 10, still in playoff position, 4-5, 10 game wins, -4 points. Then you got Oklahoma. They got bumped out after they lost to Boston. Waco gets a win. They move up right behind Oklahoma. The Bidoofs lost, so they also slipped back a little bit. And Lavender Town won, so they're still in the fight. El Paso got eliminated from playoff contention, though, with another loss. So they are no longer in the running with that. And then we got our teams that are just kind of fighting at the bottom there. We got the Ducks, who might end up 3-7. We'll see. Diamond Desert Dwellers are going to be playing against Slateport later this week. So one of them will be 2-8. The other one 1-9. Daytona going up against Driftville City Dragon Balls. We'll see if he can get a second win. And then the Seattle Sylveons will be going up against Waco, trying to stop their playoff hopes. So let's take a look now at the playoff odds. So this is 6 teams remaining in playoff contention, only 2 spots open. So this is how it kind of breaks down. Charm City, they have over a 60% chance to make it. They got to win against Buffalo. If they don't beat Buffalo, then they don't make it. Like, a lot of these teams only have one way they're going to make it. So Charm City has to win. They are favored to beat Buffalo. Next up is actually Waco, surprisingly, at 47.9%. So even though they're a few spots back, they have pretty interesting way to get in there. So they have to beat Seattle and have Tokyo lose and have one more point than Oklahoma. Now, the reason they're so high is that Seattle is a pretty bad team, so we expect Waco to beat them and to get quite a few points with that. So that's why they're so high, even though being so far back in position. Tokyo has a 45% chance to make the playoffs. They have to beat Denver again. If they don't beat Denver, there's no way they can make it. So they are slight underdogs against Denver, who of course is 9-0. So Tokyo will be not only looking to end Denver's undefeated streak, but also looking to make it to the playoffs. The defending champ fighting for their playoff lives. All right, Oklahoma Thunderers, they had over a 45% chance last week to make it, but with a loss to Boston, Waco getting a win, their percentage has dropped down to just below 20%. They need to beat Lavender Town, have Tokyo lose, and at least tie Waco in points. Now, you might look at that and be like, wait, that's kind of similar to what Waco needs, except Oklahoma just needs to tie them. But, again, they're favored against Lavender Town, but Lavender Town will be a tougher match than Waco and Seattle. And we expect Waco to get a lot of points. Oklahoma and Lavender Town, you might look at like a 4-point game, while with the Scissors, we're expecting like a 6 or a 7-point game from them. So we'll have to see exactly how that shakes out. If Waco either has a really close game with Seattle, or if they lose, then that definitely helps Oklahoma a lot. Next up, we got the Bidoofs. They need to beat Charm City, have Tokyo lose, and then have either Oklahoma or Waco lose, and they'll make it in. That gives them a little bit over a 14% shot. And then Lavender Town, They need to win against Oklahoma, have Tokyo lose, and have Waco lose. So we'll have to see how that goes. Only about a 4% chance of that happening. So let me know, which of these two teams are you rooting for? Who do you think will fill out the last couple spots in our playoff bracket? Who do you think is going to win that South Division between the Memphis Muse and the Vero Beach Volcaronas? And who's going to end up undefeated? Will it be Boston? Will it be Denver? Who knows? Alright, last but not least though, we got our top 10 performing Pokemon here, updated after week 9. You know, I feel like we could go back. I think it was like week 5 or week 6. Some of these Pokemon had 20 KOs back then. I think Porygon had like 20 KOs back in like week 6. And I was talking like, oh, might we get 30 KOs? Now I don't see it. I don't see. You got 1 week left. You think Porygon's going to rattle off 7 KOs in 1 week? You think Entei or Zapdos or Regigigas are going to get 8 KOs in 1 week? I don't know. They might not even break Excadrill's record from last double season, season 4. Got 26 KOs in only 8 games. 26 KOs in 8 games. That's a 3.25 KOs per game. That's crazy. As you can see with these teams, we're already through 9 matches. 23. They're barely averaging 2.5. Not cutting it. Not up to snuff with the last doubles MVP. But we've got Porygon Z still at the top in the KO leaders with 23. We've got a bunch of Pokemon with 22, so someone's looking for that KO leader with Entei, Zapdos, and Regigigas all at 22. Regigigas really been slowed down as well. He got a fast start, so his Galarian and Weezing must have died here because he has slowed down. Kieran White made a big jump this week, up to 21 KOs. Metagross still lingering around with 19 KOs. Don't see him getting really any this week, having to go up against Shadow Rider Calyrex. Eternus and Zapdos, your Braviary representatives with 18 and 17 KOs respectively. Vero Beach throwing Cinderace up there with 17 KOs, and rounding it out is Calyrex Shadow Rider, who we mentioned before, with 17 KOs. So which of these Pokemon do you think is going to be MVP? Now here's something interesting, right? I mean, PSG just clinched the playoff spot, so that's fine. But you look at these top 4 that are kind of in the hunt. Three out of the 4, their team might not make the playoffs. Do they deserve still to be in the MVP voting? The most valuable Pokemon? Like, can a Pokemon do well but their team do bad and get rewarded? Then you got Kieran White. Driftvale made the playoffs. You got Metagross, Black City just clinched a playoff spot. 2 Pokemon from Boston, Eternus and Zapdos. They're in the playoffs. Cinderace is in the playoffs. Calyrex is in the playoffs. Or is it a Pokemon that doesn't get up here? Is it a support Pokemon? If you've been watching the Bows and you think there's a support Pokemon that's worthy, definitely comment them down below. Let us know. Yeah, so a lot going on. Week 10, the final week. Stay tuned. Let me know what you're looking forward to as the regular season wraps up and who you like in the playoffs coming up. And as always, stay classy, society.